Welcome to Down in the Bumps, a perinatal mental health podcast that shares stories of women and families who have experienced perinatal mental health problems. My name is Laura. I'm your host and I'm a doctor training in psychiatry. At the end of each episode, I'll share some learning about perinatal mental health related to the story we've heard. Please note that what is discussed in the podcast should not be taken as medical advice, and you should discuss your own medical care with your GP. In this episode, I speak to Robby, who's married to Eleanor. You may have heard Eleanor's story earlier in the series. Robby shares his experience of supporting a partner with mental illness in the perinatal period. We hope that this episode will highlight the challenges and dilemmas facing partners or family members, and the importance of involving and supporting those who are closest to people affected by mental illness. There is mention of suicide and pregnancy loss, so if this may be triggering for you, perhaps step away and join us another time. You join our conversation where Robby's telling me what changes he noticed in Eleanor. You were just saying there that just after your daughter Phoebe was born, Eleanor said something that struck you as a little bit strange. I just wondered if you'd tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, so I think the C-section was in the morning, and we were at the bed, and I just remember looking at Phoebe and just having this overwhelming love for her, and just just a feeling of I will do anything to protect this baby. And I said, and I turned to Eleanor and I said, I just love her so much already. And she turned to me and said, stop trying to force it. You don't have to keep saying it. And it just struck at the time. It just struck me as really odd for her to say that. But I kind of, later, I don't know. I just kind of dismissed it as being that, she just had a major operation. It's our first child. And then just kind of dismissed it, and then a few days later, the same conversation happened again, and it just struck me as like there's something not quite right, and I think with what Eleanor and I experienced with the miscarriages and stuff, I always hoped, I didn't think, but I kind of like hoped that once Phoebe was here and once she was, we had a bit more control on keeping her alive.
Yeah.
That things would have changed, and it just didn't. But I think looking back at Eleanor was just nowhere near well. She wasn't well at all for the first 3 months, and there was always something that I could blame it on. So that breastfeeding. I think that was like the biggest focus at the time was the struggle with the breastfeeding, but it. That wasn't the issue. That was an issue that I say small issue. It was an issue that we could blame it on, but the much bigger issue was, I'd say kind of like post-traumatic stress from the miscarriages mixed in with postpartum depression. I think there were enough signs there for us to have got help a bit sooner. And we knew Ellen would always open up to me and tell me how low she was feeling and how everything. And with me, I was coming out of being more, I would say it was anxious and a little bit of depression that I was going through. But I was, I had sertraline and I had counselling that I went through myself, like privately, to kind of get things going, because I wanted to be right in the head when Phoebe came along. So I was coming out of it, and all the signs were there, and what I was experiencing, a few months earlier, and I kept, encouraging, and saying, we can get through this. We'll, let's talk to people, let's see people, and I just think I can't. For Eleanor to have, she is better now, and I mean, she probably won't say that to herself, but she's taken massive steps,
absolutely,
especially in the last 4 or 5 months. I think she's done amazing, but I think those steps that I think we could have, we should have had the help a little bit earlier, maybe even during pregnancy. And it was kind of just like during pregnancy was like, you just need medication.
Yeah.
Eleanor was so anxious about miscarrying that any sort of medication that wasn't the vitamins that we were instructed to take, wasn't through the consultant that we saw about preventing miscarriages and stuff, like all the type of supplements that we were taking, anything that strayed away from that, Eleanor was never going to take. So she was never going to take medication, and therapy was never really like an option. And I think the focus was that she's just anxious because she's pregnant. And it wasn't really focused on the fact that actually, no, it's post-traumatic stress from the miscarriages, and there is anxiety about the pregnancy as well.
Yeah, which is over and above that of, well, I mean, she was unwell, wasn't she?
Yeah. I think as a partner of someone who's pregnant, I don't think we get much of a say in anything. So when we went to scans, when we did stuff, it was Eleanor that was always talked to, which is, it's right enough, and there's bodies going through all the things, but I was never really, I was there, but I was never really involved. But when Eleanor was going through this, I said, you need to talk to other people other than me because it'll help. And I don't know whether when she was speaking to the consultants or at the time, I was never there to be a part of, and I don't know whether, not that she lied, but she would trick herself into saying that she was better than she actually was. So therefore, the consultant didn't think she was as bad as she actually was, and and I think if I'd been involved, then I would have been like, oh no, you don't, if I was I would have definitely said no, you didn't.
But that's not what's going on.
And kind of maybe I think with the consultants is also getting the partner's viewpoint on things, because we see them every day.
Absolutely. Eleanor best.
I think the good thing was, I think when a lot of it was on Zoom, and I think it's a lot easier to fake your way through stuff on Zoom. But once someone came out to see Eleanor, that's when everything started to change, because they could see, you can actually see in person how bad she was, and then that's when the steps were taken for her to go to the place in Chorley. And I think for me, once that decision was made, there was a huge sense of relief for me.
I bet, because you've seen her unwell for
because there would be days where in the morning I knew Eleanor was so bad, and I'd be like, look, I'll just stay off work, or I'll work from home or whatever. And like, no, I'll be fine. And those days I would worry that she was about to do something. And I just, once it was decided that she was going in, there was a relief. And then I think it would, because it was, so I think it was the morning that the discussion was it was going to happen. Then it was about finding a place, and it could be in Stoke, in Manchester, we didn't know where we were going. And Eleanor's parents came over. In their heads, she was just a new mum, I think, and it's tough. And I think that's what they thought. I don't think they realised how bad it was. And I think once they knew, that also helped a little bit. Because as much as I wanted to tell people, I think that's the worst thing I could have done, because it had to come from Eleanor to tell other people. I just feel like if I had told, like, her parents, I don't know whether Eleanor would have shrank more or pushed people away even further if I'd forced it on her. So I think it was good that it kind of happened. And I look back and go, maybe should I have told more people? It's not that I didn't share what Eleanor was going through with people, so I didn't keep the whole burden to myself. I could talk to my friends about what Eleanor was going through, but not to the extent. I would just say that she's not coping very, like, I wouldn't go to the full extent of what I was going through, but at least I had some sort of, someone to talk to about it.
Yeah. And did you feel like you had, when Eleanor was under the care of the perinatal mental health service, did you feel like you were supported then?
There was weekly meetings for the partners that was set up, and just with my job and where it was, I could never make them. That was a difficult part. I think that may have been helpful, but then again, I got kind of the feedback that other partners didn't do it either. So I don't know whether it would just be a one-on-one situation. When we first went in, they had to ask my permission for Eleanor to go into the place, which I thought that was quite, not bizarre, but I didn't understand why I had to give permission. Eleanor's her own person, But maybe it was because it's Phoebe would have to be there, and it's kind of
it is. It's to do. It's really more to do with Phoebe.
But again, that was never.
I can see how that came across as.
It was never explained to me that was the reason why or anything. It was just like, is it okay for Eleanor? I was like, well, I don't own her, but yeah. So but when it was kind of like, I was involved a lot. I helped Eleanor out a lot because sleep. I felt like if Eleanor got sleep, she would be better. I feel like I put a lot on the fact if Eleanor could just get a few hours sleep, it would help her. So I kind of helped out by I slept with Phoebe because I'm quite a deep sleeper, so I could sleep with her, so I wasn't as anxious as Eleanor would be if she slept with Phoebe. I tried to do as much as I can. I couldn't really help with the when she was going through the breastfeeding stuff. I also couldn't help with that, but I would do the bottle feeds. When we decided to go combi feeding, which was great. So I would do the kind of like the nighttime shift. So I was like, and I would do the feeding as well. I think when Phoebe cries, it goes through Eleanor, and I think that's for most mothers, that when a baby cries, it goes right through them and can't. Phoebe's not the best in the evening, so feeding and bath time I would do it because it didn't go through me as much, so I would kind of help out a lot. And I think when we went there, it was encouraged, we don't want to change it, we want to try to mirror everything that's home life to there. But I think after a week of Eleanor being there, I realized that it wasn't going to mirror. The great thing was they had a house there that you could stay at, which was really good, really useful for me. So I would come up on a Thursday night, work from home on the Friday, stay Friday night, and then I would take Phoebe back with me, so I could spend Saturday and Sunday with Phoebe, and Ellie could have a break for a weekend, which to focus on herself and to help out, which was really good.
Good.
And I think, I don't know if I'm supposed to be giving advice to other partners or anything.
No, please do. That was my next question. Please go ahead.
I think just being as supportive as you can, I think, and little things matter. Doing just having, if the house is tidy, I don't know, it just makes things like one less thing for the mum to worry about and stuff like that. And I think that's all. I couldn't control what Eleanor was going through, but I could control other stuff. So I just felt like if I could do lots of things, it also helped my mental health. Because it felt like I was helping, but also it would help out because it's just one less thing for her to worry about. And then the other thing is like trust instincts and just speak up as early as possible and try and be involved in the therapy meeting. And I think that's what's difficult, is because obviously therapy is supposed to be confidential and it's supposed to be for that person. I completely understand, but I think there should be maybe 15 minutes set aside to speak to the partner or to kind of go through their opinion and stuff.
During therapy, because I guess it's not just mum, is it? It's the rest of the family as well.
And I didn't. To be honest, I had no idea what I should be doing to help Eleanor. I was guessing my way through things. Did
you feel you had enough support with Phoebe as well? If you felt like you didn't really know what to do with Phoebe?
This is the thing, is like I'd never being a first time dad, I had no idea what to expect, what I was supposed to do. I download, as most people would do, download a book about what to expect when you're expecting type thing. But I got one for that, and I went through it all, and it was quite funny because some stuff is like, as a dad, you can make sure all the house is, baby proof, and it was a lot of DIY stuff, and I was like, this isn't not exactly helpful on that front. But from that, I think I took on board. I took 3 months off from work at the beginning, which a lot of partners won't be able to. So I was incredibly lucky for that. So I felt I didn't know what. Once I didn't know what I was doing, I felt like it didn't matter because I was just loving her, and that's all that was expected. So if I knew roughly how to feed her and how to change her. And then I got better as the more times I did it. So I think for the basic needs, we'd done some courses before, so I knew roughly what to do, and then I just kind of went for it. So I wouldn't say that the support was there, but I felt like I didn't necessarily need it. And I just had confidence in myself that that it didn't, I'm not going to get things right, but it won't matter because I love her. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Because you're trying your best, absolutely.
Which I've never, when looking back at it, like I'm such a perfectionist, and or I care what other people think of me, and all sorts of negative stuff. And with Phoebe, it's just that all that sort of negativity just completely disappeared. When she got here, and it's still like that today, to be honest. So,
Great. Thank you so much, Robby. That's really so valuable to hear your side and your wisdom to pass on to other partners who might be experiencing similar. So, thank you very much.
Please.
I hope you enjoyed listening to my chat with Robby. From speaking with him, I got the sense that at times he felt a bit lost and unsure where he could get some support, which, importantly, could fit around his work schedule. I thought I would share some resources which might help partners. Nationally, there are baby loss specific support groups, including SANS, which is a national baby loss charity. They offer various support such as one-to-one peer support. PANDAS provides national postnatal depression support, and they offer an online support group for dads. There's also Action on Postpartum Psychosis, or APP, which offers support for partners of those affected by postpartum psychosis. Proud to be Parents provide LGBTQIA+ parenting support. They're Manchester based, but will support anyone who's able to travel. In Lancashire, we're very excited to have access to DadPad, a new guide which has been developed with the NHS and helps partners to gain confidence and parenting skills. It has lots of information about bonding with your baby, getting to grips with your new role as a parent, the practicalities of parenting, and looking after yourself and supporting your partner. It also contains details of local support groups. It can be accessed via the DadPad app, which is free to download and free to access if you live in Lancashire or South Cumbria. You just need to enter your Lancashire or South Cumbria postcode.